Alrighty guys, we're back for Is It Urabrask, and this is a Bloomburrow standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked, but first things first, this was a suggestion over in the Discord. So thank you so much for the suggestion. It's gonna be a fun one, revisiting Urabrask already, guys. You guys really liked the last Urabrask video, so makes sense to go right back to it. 4 mana, 4/4. First strike. First strike really does come in handy, guys. It is a legendary creature, but who the heck cares? We got all 4 of them in here anyways, because it is going to be that important. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Urabrask deals 1 damage to target opponent, and you get to add a red mana, which is huge. It's pretty easy to flip this into the Great Work as well for just 1 red mana. You return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner's control as the Great Work. Now you can only activate it as a sorcery and only if you cast 3 or more instant and or sorcery spells this turn, which should be a really easy in a deck list like this. So the Great Work, Chapter 1 of this saga, deals 3 damage to target opponent and each creature they control. Chapter 2 gets you 3 treasure tokens. Chapter 3, until end of turn, you may cast instant and sorcery spells from any graveyard. If a spell cast this way would be put into the graveyard, of course, exile it instead, and then exile the Great Work and return it as Urabrask. Pretty cool card, man. Awesome build around. One of my favorite red cards in Standard right now, of course. So what else do we got packed in here? Might as well finish going over the top end because it's just a Ral. Crackling Wit. Pretty good Planeswalker, man. That's all I got to say about that. Onwards, we have a couple Pearl of Wisdom. So cost 1 less to cast if you control an otter. Let me double check. Urabrask is in fact not an otter, but we do have other otters packed in. Now it's just 3 mana, sorcery speed, draw 2 cards, but hopefully in this build it's going to be more often than not 1 mana, draw 2 cards. That's the hope at least, right? Only a couple of them though, because when you are playing a blue source, you're not getting that blue source back with the Urabrask. You are getting a red source though, and that is very important to note. So the otter we have packed in is Stormcatch Mentor. 2 mana, 1/1, rockin' Is It colors up there. It has haste and prowess, which isn't half bad. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. That should come in handy, especially when we have what we should call janky cards like Playful Shove at 2 mana. Sorcery speed. Oh dear, right? The last time I went over Playful Shove, I was making fun of it a lot, and it actually performed really well in that Urabrask list. So it deals 1 damage to any target, then it replaces itself, so you draw a card. And so, of course, the hope here is in this build, we get it to 1 mana. And at 1 red mana, you do 1 damage to any target, and then it replaces itself. And then if Urabrask is on the board, you're replacing the mana that you spent on the shove too. And that's kind of what these Storm-style decks want to do. So similar concept with all of these other 2 mana cards. Hopefully, they're just going to be 1 mana, whether Mentor's on the board or Artist Talent as well. So 2 mana enchantment class. This is going to be pretty important. We have all 4 of them in here. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. That level of trading cards out is actually really darn good. Level 2 here for just 2 and a red non-creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Nice. Now, non-creature spells does include the Ral, which is pretty neat. Level 3 for 2 and a red, if a source you control would deal a non-combat damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead. Not half bad, man. Now, I'll tell you what, though, there is a lot of enchantment removal. You have to really, you're kind of taking a gamble when you're plugging extra mana into the Artist Talent, and sometimes that gamble is definitely worthwhile, especially if you're able to keep an Urabrask around with the Artist Talent on the board, too. So we have some burn spells packed in, of course, all 4 lightning strikes. Again, hopefully we can get these down to 1 mana, whether it is from Mentor or the Talent. And then we also have Highway Robbery, trying this one out. This was actually in the original suggested deck list on that Discord too, and I'm really interested to see if this is going to be worth it. It's a 2 mana now. It is sorcery speed, making it a little slower than this effect is usually. You may discard a card or sacrifice a land. If you do, draw 2 cards. So we have some cards in the honorable mentions to talk about over the Highway Robbery, like Demand Answers, for example. And when I was running Demand Answers at instant speed, that's pretty good. And it's either an artifact or discard a card. And the only artifact generation we had for the Demand Answers was actually Flick a Coin, which I decided not to run any of them this time. Flick a Coin for the treasure and whatnot. So what's really interesting about Highway Robbery is a deck list like this might actually not need too much mana on the board once the Urabrask is already down, and you might also not have any cards in hand to discard as well. So you just like sacrifice one of your already tapped lands to draw a couple extra cards. Also has Plot for 1 and a red too, which is really interesting. Excited to see if this is going to do anything today. All right, guys, what else do we got packed in? We also have all 4 Shock, of course. We have 4 Sleight of Hands in here, too. And again, I wanted to note that, like, yeah, it's a blue mana that you're using, and you're generating a red mana from it. So you can't go, like, Sleight of Hand, Sleight of Hand, Sleight of Hand into a Pearl of Wisdom while Urabrask is on the board. But you can do something like Sleight of Hand into a free Shock off the Urabrask or something, too. So, yeah, we'll see if that does a thing. Anything else, guys? Yeah, we got a couple Brotherhood's End. I think that's going to be relatively important. And if you're not going to be wiping the board, or you're not up against a build that needs their board wiped, then you can always discard this to something like the Artist Talent, or discard it to the Robbery or something too. When you have this level of filtering in the deck list, it's totally fine to run a couple board wipes. Okay, guys. The mana base. We got 23 total land. Hopefully that's enough. 1 Fabled Passage, hopefully not slowing us down too much, but also Thundering Falls making the cut in here. With the Surveil 1, it's really just in here for mana fixing, and hopefully it doesn't slow us down too much, right? The main reason is I did not want to run the Shivon Reef because the pain lands have been very painful for me, especially with all the mono red, the super aggressive mono red list floating about. So I didn't want the Reef, even though you'd think I would have in a build like this. I also think that if we're spamming a whole bunch of spells from our hand and we have 3 Reefs on the board, then we're just going to die to our own cards, or our own land in that case. So yeah, opting for the Thundering Falls this time. Also, Surveil does come in handy. All 4 Canals too, heavily leaning towards mountains because that's what the deck is leaning towards. Other honorable mentions, guys. Ren's Resolve, of course, is something to consider for this style of deck list, period. Honorable mention for a very good reason. Case of the Ransacked Lab could be an interesting one to consider as well. I did think about more top-end board wipes like Ill-Timed Explosion, but in a build like this, Ill-Timed Explosion is the most it's going to do is 4 damage. Outside of that, if you're not wiping the board, drawing 2 could be really good too, so honorable mention for a reason. Okay, guys, my goodness, I do my dandiest to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, and sometimes I fail significantly. So, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, and see how we do. Right into that first game, guys. A lot of people playing Magic today, apparently. This build took me a while to go over, but I'll tell you what, I could probably ramble about Urabrask builds for like another 15 minutes at the intro. All right. So nothing significant in hand, but like a lot of ways to see more. I guess we could mulligan and try to find more significant things. But that's a similar concept to keeping this too. I'm just going to keep it. We'll have that turn 1 Sleight of Hand. Ooh, Urabrask off the top is really good. You know what? I'm actually just going to go for the Thundering Falls then too, since the opponent didn't really play much as well. I'm going to keep the mana as well. Because drawing mana, if we end up seeing too much mana, we could always trade it out to the Robbery. Gev. All right. All right. What do you guys think? We plot up the Highway Robbery. We start setting up for the Urabrask. Since Playful Shove doesn't hit the Gev anyways, like I guess something we could consider is like Sleight of Hand, try to find a shock. But I think we just have to go for the setup with the Urabrask. Urabrask acting as a pretty significant board wipe too. It doesn't wipe away the Laughing Jasper Flint, though, when it's a 5/4. Holy cow. Right, so... Stormcatch Mentor is really good. But I'm wondering if we just plot up the Robbery. Sleight of Hand for the turn? Save the Sleight of Hand? What do we do here, man? This probably gets melted away. But I guess that's okay if they melt the Mentor instead of our face. Additionally, the plot cost doesn't change here, right? It does not. But the Robbery is still just 1 mana. If we want to do that for the turn, Sleight of Hand might be a little better, so that way we have the red source once the Urabrask is down too. My apologies, opponent. I guess we should have started with Sleight of Hand then, right? Pearl of Wisdom, if the Mentor survives, is a little bit better than a second Mentor. Alright. Totally fine. Gonna save the Highway Robbery. We might just end up jumping with the Mentor too. It really depends, man. We'll see what they end up hitting here. Wow, a couple mountains off the Laughing Jasper. That's good news for us, dude. That's really good. All right, 4th mana. Deep Cavern Bat. No, get out of my hand, opponent. They're going to tempo out the Urabrask. It's going to be turn 5 now when the Urabrask finally hits. Oh, no. Unless, wait, hold on. Oh, they take the Playful Shove. Okay, their hand probably has spot removal. If we see mana off the top. Oh, crap. Oh, crap, dude. Really tough. Really tough, really risky decisions here. I'm going to keep the Mentor, so Pearl of Wisdom is just 1 mana. It's going to be Deep Cavern Bat number 2. No. Okay. We're going to have a really tough uphill battle. Best thing we can do, though, we do find mana off the top. And they take a Highway Robbery. They're not scared of this Urabrask at all, guys. That means spot removal is likely in their hand. However, that being said, they might not be afraid of the Urabrask because... Oh no. Oh no, I don't know where to begin. We could save the Urabrask for next turn to try to really pop off, or we could just try to find a board wipe for the turn. We should just try to find the board wipe for the turn, right? On 2, we'll get the red source on the Robbery play. Crap, dude. If only it was a blue source. I apologize, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy. A lot of decisions. If we don't pop off this turn with the Urabrask, we're in trouble. What are the odds of us finding a couple more red sources or red cards to play? All right. We're going for it because we could easily die next turn if we're not careful here. Highway Robbery for free is going to be significant. So we get that red source back, but Pearl of Wisdom just not doing anything. We're going to discard a card, and it's going to be the Mountain. No, it's more blue things. No. Okay. They might miss the spot removal. For the Urabrask. Okay, it's possible. Oh, they take a shock from us. No, that would have been so good. Oh my goodness, it would have been so good. Oh, that would have been so good. Dude. I'm so sad about it. Wait. They might have missed the removal for the Urabrask. Dude, I'm on a roller coaster ride right now, for real. Like, it's not even funny. Down to 5. They got 3 in the air. We're going to be forced to chump. We got to block Urabrask into the Laughing Jasper. But we might chump Laughing Jasper, try to get rid of this Gev. No, go for the throne. Oh no, guys. That is lethal damage no matter what, right? Brutal stuff. That lined up a little bit too well for the opponent, huh? So a few things, man. So first of all, seeing the blue cards, like, of course, we got blue cards packed in, so it's not going to be unheard of to only see blue things off the top when you're trying to storm with your Urabrask, right? So, shock was so close, man. If we would have seen the shock, we would have played shock. We could have hit the, Playful Shove would have made a little bit of sense, but probably 2 damage to the Deep Cavern Bat that's holding the Robbery, because Robbery still would have only been 1 red mana because we had the Mentor, right? Do more filtration, maybe find more, pop the other bat, right? Then the Playful Shove, or at that point too, anything we found, even if we didn't pop the bat, if it was a red card, we could have played, that would have been the third one, then we could have flipped the Urabrask and wiped their board. But boy, I think we were in trouble either way, right? I think we would have really had to pop off on that turn with the Urabrask, which actually, number one, I don't think it would have been unheard of. I think that that is very possible to pull off. But number two, oh man. Yeah, there's a lot to say about that build. I'm going to stop rambling about it. Let's focus on this second game here. I really liked the plot. The plot on that discard card, right? That was really cool. We go first. Sure. Why not? We'll try it. We got Surveil. A lot of ways to find a little bit more here. I don't want to see more mana right now. The other Surveil could have been good, but I want to go Sleight of Hand, keep Shock open as removal. Demonic Ruckus. So we'll start with the Sleight of Hand, see what you see. Urabrask, hi! Oh, you're so far away, Urabrask. I shouldn't have sent that mana. There's no way I'm not grabbing the Urabrask, though, right? Highway Robbery, of course, can help us see more when it comes time. Okay, okay. I mean, there will be more opportunities to get more Urabrask. Right now, all of our burns should be really good against mono red. Yeah, hopefully that's fine. If I would have just kept the Thundering Falls on top, maybe we would have grabbed the Urabrask. Maybe. 6-shot show off. Hi. Goodbye. Should we wait to see if they cast the Ruckus, I guess, first, right? Yeah, we should. Yeah, they're definitely playing around instant speed spot removal here by keeping the Ruckus back. Like, they knew what was about to happen. We're going to take the turn to plot up the Robbery instead of just, like, play it, right? Plotting up the Robbery makes sense when we're looking for... I'm going to go for the plot. It's like a really slow turn, but I don't know. We're just like kind of setting up. We're kind of like testing the waters with this Highway Robbery too. And I really liked plotting this up in that last game. I feel like that was one of the main reasons we were able to do so much on that turn for Urabrask. Or potentially do so much, right? Challenger. I can imagine that Ruckus is finally hitting the table since we're tapped out over here. On the Challenger or on the Swiftspear? Challenger has a bigger target. They're just holding the Ruckus for a rainy day. Canal's not bad. I don't mind seeing that at all. Playful Shove not picking much up here. If we save Lightning Strike for their turn, it's possible that their prowess, like they can double down on prowess abilities. So Highway Robbery for free, I guess, is a good place to start. I guess, right? We'll get rid of a Playful Shove since it's not hitting much on their table right now. Pearl of Wisdom, another Playful Shove. Just like draw 2 more there. We just go for removal on our turn. It's probably a good bet for at least one of these things, like Challenger, right? We don't want them to see more off the top. Then we'll keep the Lightning Strike for their turn and see if we're actually able to pull something off with that. Remember, the Playful Shove is sorcery speed. A lot going on in this build, man. These Storm-style decks are so much fun. Let's see if we can get around this Swiftspear. Prowess. Because they need to double down on top of this, and I think that's very possible. They're thinking about it, too. A Monstrous Rage, that's one. Well, that's all they need, actually, is the one Monstrous Rage. Oh. Worth attempting? Yes, but now they got 7 swinging in, and then the Ruckus on the board, too, once we actually take care of the Swiftspear. Wait, how are we going to take care of this Swiftspear? It's a 3-4 right now. Oh, that's not good. I don't want to double down on it, because they get to replace it immediately with the Ruckus once it hits the grave. I don't mind seeing land. Even if we try to double down on the Swiftspear, it might miss. They still have 2 mana open. They could easily prowess for the turn. Is there a chance of death next turn? Pearl of Wisdom, also sorcery speed, guys. Let's see what we see off the top on a Playful Shove, and we'll consider the Lightning Strike. I think their prowess is going to save the Swift Spear again this turn. Oh, Artist Talent. Oh, crap. Yeah, that could be pretty good. 3 cards in their hand, guys. Oh, crap. Okay, we're going for it. We're risking it. We're risking it. I think we're in danger regardless. I think it's all risky plays once we're this far in against mono red. Lightning Strike, yeah. So let's say we didn't risk the Lightning Strike on the Swift Spear. Let's say we went Artist Talent. It could have still been instant speed Lightning Strike for the turn, bringing us down to 7. They'd still have the 3/4 Swift Spear regardless here. Are we dead? It's a shock. That's 1 point away. And we are in fact dead. So at -2, the best way through would have been finding a better time to remove the Swift Spear earlier, right? I think so. I think so. Even then, I think we're going to be in a lot of danger. Oh, also, I sent the Urabrask. We eventually found the 4th mana too. Would a 4/4 First Strike Urabrask have been enough? How big were they able to get the Swift Spear's toughness? I think they would have gotten it above the 4/4 anyways, right? I think they got it above the 4/4 that turn, actually. I wasn't paying too much attention. Only looking at the power, but of course it makes sense since prowess would have easily gotten it above the 4/4. So even the Urabrask hitting the table, at that point too, though, if I would have been patient with the plotted up Highway Robbery, man, I don't know. That's tough. We go first. Heck yeah, dude, look at this. Oh, buddy, we're going to go turn 2, Talent. We're going to go turn 3, Talent. Honestly, though, okay, Swamp. So, honestly, like, Mentor wouldn't be bad, but going right into a cut down is probably pretty bad. So, just going Artist Talent, especially when you're up against Swamps. Worst thing would be Orzhov Colors. Okay, it's just more Swamps, not bad. Deep Cavern Bat, you got a decision to make, buddy. Is it going to be the Lightning Strike? It is going to be the Lightning Strike, which we're not too sad about right now. We have a lot of burn. A lot of burn packed in. With our current hand, it would not be terrible to just go Mentor over the Talent. But again, against Mono Black, we're just going for the Talent. We're just establishing this as a persistent threat on this board that Mono Black should have a lot of trouble dealing with, hopefully. Another Talent, not bad. So we could start trading things out. The Mentor is probably the first trade out. We could attempt the Urabrask. It likely dies, so we'd rather wait till we get a 5th mana and then try to pop off all in one turn while they're tapped out from playing like a Shieldred or something. So let's start with Sleight of Hand, maybe trade out the 2nd Artist Talent and keep the mana, because we're going to want to see the 5th mana. Another Urabrask isn't bad too. With our current hand, we will grab the... Well, we won't be able to play Mentor now. Oh, that kind of sucks. Thundering Falls, though? Because Thundering Falls for the Surveil isn't bad. See what we see on the Surveil. Highway Robbery is worth keeping on top, I would say, because it's only going to be 1 mana. So we play... So they hopefully tap out, right? We play Urabrask, Mountain, Highway Robbery. They do tap out here, guys. Okay. Okay, come on. Come on, here we go. All right, so we go Mountain. Urabrask. Here we go. All right, Highway Robbery. We play it for 1 mana. We get 1 back. We go discard on... We just want to filter out as much as possible, so get rid of the Mentor. Yeah, we don't want mana. We will Let's see. We see more robberies. Like, sacrificing a land wouldn't be terrible here. But we could always do that with the next robbery too, so... I guess discard a card. And it'll be the mana. Okay, there's Lightning Strike. Okay, this is good. This is really good. So we go Lightning Strike onto Deep Cavern Bat. Get that one back. And we will trade out the Mentor. Keeping the second Urabrask around might be really significant here. Okay. The other Artist Talent could be really good too, but yeah. Lightning Strike onto the Archfiend, because we're probably going to flip Urabrask for the turn. Right? Because there's no guarantee that we keep storming. Get rid of the Artist Talent. Brotherhood's End. Okay. So then we flip the Urabrask. 3 damage to everything. Gets rid of the Archfiend. Not a bad turn at all, dude. I'll tell you what, man. Pretty good. Woo! Aclazotes. That's dangerous because of that lifelink. But hopefully we're able to do something. So Urabrask number 2 could come down. We could go Brotherhood's End. Start flipping that way. The Great Work isn't legendary, right? Probably start with the Surveil then. See what we see on top. Because whatever we could trade out Brotherhood's End, maybe. Oh, Pearl of Wisdom. I guess we keep that just to be able to see more when it comes time. If we go Urabrask and we play Brotherhood's End, we actually don't have any cards remaining in hand to trade out then. So we're just going to take the turn to set up the talent, since the Great Work's going to flip next turn too. That being said, yeah, it's going to flip next turn. We let that happen. We save everything in hand here. Brotherhood's End not hitting the Aclazotes anyways. So early on, if we would have sacrificed a land... Oh, we're forced to discard here too. So when we flip, we're going to want the second Urabrask. Because when we flip this, they're probably going to pop it with instant speed spot removal. Then we want the second Urabrask down to be able to pop off with it. Oh, Investigator. I'm surprised I didn't go Investigator first. I guess it's only once each turn, though. Well, that might mean no instant speed spot removal for the Urabrask, so I guess now's the time, huh? Start with, actually, start with Sleight of Hand. Get the red source from the Urabrask going that way. Decline. It's looking pretty good for us, man. It's looking really good for us this turn here. Because this is a lot of excess damage from the Artist Talent. And we can trade out the Mountain. We're still going to play it out completely, though, because I guess you never know. Oh, they get a Bat and a Clue. Oh. Yeah, I guess technically it's our turn, so... The Investigator, luckily, is only once each turn, though. We don't need Urabrask number 2. They only got a Swamp open here. We just, that's it. I mean, we could flip the Urabrask, too, if we wanted to do it that way, but... Yeah, like, we took the time to establish the Artist Talent all the way to max. Yeah, we got this class to level 3, so it was just, like, so much extra burn damage rolling through. Any amount of extra setup while we're able to keep Urabrask around is going to be significantly dangerous for the opponent, like, period, right? Yeah, that did the thing. Like, we really stormed. We really, really did. Guys, we're 28 minutes in. Totally have time for more. Oh, a Hulking Raptor. That must have been my 5th one, because we got some gems for it. Okay, well. Anyways, yeah. About halfway through the video here, make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link, as well as that Patreon link too, if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. Ooh. This is a mulligan, right? Like, we need at least 2 mana in hand. This would be too risky. This is a little better. I'm afraid to send the second Urabrask, but that's definitely the send. Okay. Anyways, guys, with the other YouTube nonsense as well, if you like the video, make sure you drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well. Really does help out the channel. I'm going to keep that on top. Based on what we have in hand right now, I think that's totally acceptable. Go for that swing. Okay. I always try to bring up that YouTube nonsense somewhere in the middle of the video. Sometimes it ends up being closer to the end as well. But then, like, usually when I'm bringing it up, I always get distracted halfway through because of the matches. Or distracted by my mulligan. We try to draw... We go Playful Shove at sorcery speed. We try to draw mana here. Urabrask. Look, man, I don't mind seeing you, but a little bit of mana might be a little better right now. The other Playful Shove will, of course, be good for the Deep Cavern Bats when they come down. Shock isn't the greatest against Dread Knight right now. Mana, all right. It's gonna very greedily save everything. Because I think we can get there. Against Golgari, like, yeah, losing the Mentor is bad and all, but I don't know. I'm not too scared right now, not with this hand at least. I'll be scared if they destroy our second Urabrask. Oh, crap. A shock, maybe? Is it a shock? No, they dealt damage. They get to pick. They get to pick, guys. I don't know which one they pick. I really don't, because we don't have the 4th mana guaranteed for the... Okay, they take one of the Urabrasks. I'm saving both shocks. I'm going to do it. Pearl of Wisdom, sorcery speed, let's draw 2. Let's just get that out of the way. There we go. We found that mana. All right, Sleight of Hand. Taking a good chunk of damage. Sleight of Hand. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to keep it on top. Because what we need to do right now... Okay. Okay, yeah. What we need to do... No. Wait a minute. Hold on. This is a really tough decision, man. Because if we would have sent it to try to find a 5th mana, that would have been a little better, maybe? Innkeeper's Talent. Okay. Okay, they're swinging for 6. We're down to 11. We should be very scared. So we plot up the Highway Robbery. We pop the shock at the end of the... We pop the bat with the shock at the end of their turn. But we just try to completely pop off next turn. So we're going to go Sleight of Hand. See what we see. Another Sleight of Hand or a 5th mana could be really good as well. I think we're actually going to grab that 5th mana. Plot up the Highway Robbery. Okay. Okay, guys. Yeah, we don't want to do Playful Shove. Like, I know that's tempting, but Deep Cavern Bat number 2 comes down, completely ruins the turn for us. Wait a minute, maybe not. Because if Deep Cavern Bat number 2 does come down, Playful Shove replaces itself. They grab the Urabrask anyways. We shock them next turn now that we have 5 mana on the board. Okay. I talked myself into that, and I hope that's okay. I hope there's no additional punish for that. Yeah, more mana is actually beautiful, so. Okay. Alright, guys. I'm on the edge of my seat. Level 2. Swinging for 7. Down to 4. Thought Stalker. No. The punish. I should have known. I should have known, guys. Oh, crap. Yep. I should have waited. I'm so sorry. Guys, this deck list is performing, right? Even if I'm not. Like, think about that. If I was patient about it. Okay, number 1, let's go Highway Robbery. And we'll go extra, I guess we'll discard, right? Discard the mountain. Oh yeah, dude. I think this deck list is kind of performing right now. Sleight of Hand, see what we find. Ral, cool. We're pretty much dead here, unfortunately, but Ral's a cool one to hit off of that. We can go Ral for the plus.
I've got a whole plane to search.
I guess, right? And then the shock only hits the 2/2, but we'll wait to see what they do with the Innkeeper's Talent. We can chump. We can't chump. Dread Knight has Trample. If they hit a mana, they can power up Cottage too. Oh no, see, I like the sorcery speed on the shove. It was way too tempting for me, man. But if I would have waited, and if I would have shocked at the end of their turn like I initially planned, then I think we'd be okay. I think this whole turn, I think we would have flipped Urabrask easily, right? Easily wiping their board. We're dead either way. I'm not even going to use the shock on the Warlock here. Well, I guess we could hit their face, though, for fun, right? Drop them the GGs. Oh, man. That was my fault, right? I believe that. I believe that this deck list is performing well enough to where that was just entirely my fault. Poor Urabrask. I'll tell you what, though, if they missed that other Warlock, I guess technically that risk would have been worthwhile if we were up against a different list, right? If we weren't going to be, like, I don't want to say guaranteed that they were going to hit more out of our hand. Guys, 36 minutes in, we should call it there, because it's late into the video. But one more. I'm having a lot of fun. Always have a lot of fun with these Storm lists, but also I want to redeem myself a little bit, right? Maybe have a little bit of a more patient play in this last game or something, because I apologize about that, for real. Luckily, I bring this up sometimes. Luckily, I have more pride in the deck lists that I put together than my actual gameplay too. Although, of course, I always try to do my best for everybody. All right, we'll try it. We're just going to start with that blue source off the Fabled Passage for turn 1 here. Okie dokies. Island from the opponent, island from us. I think thinning the deck a little bit isn't terrible, but we definitely like to see a lot more mana too. Just going right into Mentor while they can't counter it is pretty good. See what they do. Swing gets through. All right. With a Pearl of Wisdom being 1 mana, I really hope this Mentor sticks around. They're looking at the Mentor. It is a go for the throat. All right, all right. If we miss mana, we should Playful Shove. We don't miss the mana. We should just go Pearl of Wisdom. Replenish our hand a little bit. Another Pearl of Wisdom, another Urabrask. Not bad. Not a bad hand at all right now. Especially if they start like, the Creature of the Schism does not get picked up by Brotherhood's End. We do find our 4th. There's so many reasons to appreciate that plot card in here, man. For real, right? Because that means you can really start popping off on the turn that you get Urabrask down with that plot card. But that also means that you need a bit more setup too, making like the Playful Shoves and everything 1 mana. Guys, I'm just going to hope that they missed the spot removal for Urabrask number 1, because I can't say like we save both back and wait for the 5th mana and pop off that way, because we have no 1 mana cards in hand. So like we just go Urabrask, see what happens. Against Amir, I can only imagine this Urabrask number 1 is going to die. If I only had 1 Urabrask in hand, I think it would have been another Pearl of Wisdom turn. Being at sorcery speed, though, definitely holding this back. The main reason we want it to stick around, though, guys, it passes back. Yeah, the main reason we are opting for Pearl of Wisdom, though, is because it should easily be 1 mana with the Mentor, but how often does Mentor survive, you know? We are going to go Playful Shove, Creature of the Schism, because there's a chance that we can do 3 damage to everything, whether it's flipping Urabrask or Brotherhood's End from our hand, because we'll still have 3 mana on this board. Yeah, since there's still a chance. Phantom Interference, actually, guys. They're going to have us either pay 2 or let this go through. I say we decline. They still have 2 mana open, which is concerning, but we'll still have 3. Which I guess we go for Pearl of Wisdom, because there's a better chance of seeing more 1-drops off the top too. However, if we go Playful Shove. Okay, it's Playful Shove. It's Playful Shove, right? Because we get another red source. We go second Playful Shove. Then we can flip the Urabrask. Phantom Interference. All right, Playful Shove. I'm flipping the Urabrask this turn, I would say. We find an island, which is not terrible here. But we are just going to go ahead and activate this ability. Pretty good. And play the island for the turn, of course. Yeah, not bad at all, dude. I think the deck list is just performing beautifully overall, especially against the lists that we're seeing right now. They're a little bit more of these setup style deck lists that go a little bit into that mid game, which is really good news for us. Treasure tokens galore. All right. Get like Urabrask number 2 down, try to pop off. We easily could. Yeah, I mean, why not? Right? Why not? Urabrask. Mountain. Pearl of Wisdom. See what we see. We have 3 mana available here. Oh, okay. So the other Great Work's gonna flip. We're gonna lose one of our Urabrask since we missed the pop off, but that's okay, right? So we will go Artist Talent for the turn while we have the open mana, though. Well, hopefully that's okay, because now if we lose Urabrask number 2, was it worth the risk? No. Because the Pearl of Wisdom drew really poorly. They don't have a great swing. Great Work flips, and we get to cast as much back from the grave as possible. We'll go ahead and keep the one that can actually swing, first of all. Where to start? Wow, I don't know where to start. I guess go for the throat, right? On their Preacher of the Schism, maybe? Guess that's okay. Got Playful Shove. We're gonna get a red source back here. I guess we just play it all. Everything that we possibly can. Which maybe Stormcatch Mentor is actually... Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, we definitely play the Stormcatch Mentor. Because now everything's, like, free. We really just pop off. No removal for the Urabrask is very surprising, guys. Trade these out because I guess we can cast them from the grave. Playful Shove. I'm going to keep going. Until the very last burn spell, because it's really fun, isn't it? More mana. There's some shocks. I guess we can go Lightning Strike and then play the Lightning Strike back from the grave as well. I guess that's something. And look at all the card draw too. Yeah, GG opponent. I'll tell you what, man. Sometimes when you pop off with the Storm, the opponents could have like 30 life left, and I think we'd still be able to find a way there. You know what I mean? Really cool stuff. I could have played it much better today overall. I think the deck list really performed nicely. I think these Storm-style decks, man, they might honestly have a chance. Is it Storm really what we want to go for, though? I think that's the big question that this video is trying to figure out, right? Because when we are playing like these blue sources, you play the blue sources with the Urabrask on the board. It replaces it with a red source. Now you can't play another blue source or a blue card. You have to just keep popping off with red. I mean, there's a reason we're heavily leaning towards red. And the only cards that have blue in here are hopefully cards that just help us achieve the Storm a little bit more effectively, like Sleight of Hand, which replaces itself, but you get to choose out of the top 2, which happens to be a really good ability. Speaking of choosing out of the top 2, like Surveil effects like Thundering Falls happens to be really good in combo-style deck lists, but also if you're looking at the deck list, on turn 1, how often are you going to want to keep open mana for a shock? Or on turn 1, how often are you going to want to go Sleight of Hand? You probably just play your Thundering Falls, get it out tapped. It's good old-fashioned mana fixing for your Izzet colors that isn't going to burn your life total away. I like the Falls. I think all 4 of them totally work well in here. Of course, I suppose if you're really concerned about this tapped land, I guess you could go up the Pain Land, but I do think that the Pain Land is pretty dangerous to play in certain builds, and I think this is one of those builds, so... Okay, guys, this is an old version of Fabled Passage. When I put it up in the description, I'll try to put the newest version of Fabled Passage. Always keep your eye on the rare reprints and whatnot. Is this the type of deck that you'd want to put on the Do Not Craft list? That's a really tough thing to say, right? Because I'll tell you what, man, Urabrask Artist Talent, like, yes, the talent is rare, and yes, the Urabrask is mythic, but oh my goodness, is it so much fun to try out in different things, right? Whether it is mono red or you do want to try Is It, the nice thing about this too is most of the other cards are relatively budget. So Sleight of Hand and Shock are just common. Highway Robbery's common. Guys, Highway Robbery's plot, dude. I brought this up in like every other game, right? The plot on this seems like it should be pretty good. If you can take that turn for the setup and you have a turn for Urabrask, well, technically you tapped out. But now you play free Robbery, get the excess mana from the Urabrask, and now you're potentially popping off a little bit. And especially if you do have any other setup like the Mentor on the board. At that point, if you did take the turn 2 to set up the plot, then your turn 3 would be the Mentor. And it can't be the other way around with like Artist Talent, where you do have to spend 2 on the Artist Talent top ability and then 3 for the level 2. So that's one reason to play Is It. Stormcatch Mentor is an easy way to make everything cheap in here, where Artist Talent takes 5 total mana to get everything as cheap as the Mentor makes it. Was the Ral Crackling Wit worth it on the top end? No, not today. If you don't have it, you don't have to craft it. I think you could go up the 3rd Brotherhood's end and be relatively happy about that. But I don't think I'm personally going to change anything about the deck list. I'm going to keep the one of Ral. You know, the one of Ral seems all right to me. But yeah, if you don't have it, not worth the craft, I would say. That being said, too, I might be terribly wrong about there being a place for Storm builds, right? So there's a possibility where all 4 Urabrask might not even be worth the craft either. Since it is mythic, you never know if this style of deck just isn't going to do the thing. You never know if the next set just really shakes up the meta and just completely obliterates this style of deck and stuff like that too. So being a mythic card, it makes it pretty tough. It's so much fun though. It really is. If you have 2 of them, should you craft 2 more? No, probably not. I would say since it's legendary, you could craft like 1 more. I think having 3 of them would definitely be worthwhile, especially if it looks like a fun card for you, or a fun build around, or fun enough to try in other builds too, right? Yeah, that's tough though. That's tough. Because obviously all 4 really comes in handy in a build like this, but we are trading out so much. We're drawing a lot. We're seeing a lot off the top. So like 3 is feasible for this deck list, I would say. All right, guys. Luckily, I spoke a lot about the deck list at the beginning of the video, which I try not to do, but I could just go on and on about deck lists like this. So much fun. Storm decks, man. So cool. All right, let me know in the comments what you thought of the deck list. Was I being too hard on myself in some of those games? You guys let me know. Or yeah, I mean, I feel like I could have played it out much better, but overall, I love how the deck list performed. Yeah, I think that's it. All right, guys, enough rambling, huh? Made it this far into the video for real. Y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.